Good morning, folks. This is mid-August, and I'm out here this morning checking on my squash. I saw something a couple days ago that was of a little concern, not a major problem, but I wanted to address it because there's a good chance that if you grow, well, virtually any kind of squash, maybe in particular this kind, or it even happens with other type of vegetation, watermelon. What happened was I've got plenty male flowers at this point. I'm getting all kind of little side shoots. Rain is always the best form of water. I mean, the plants just suck it up like a sponge. That being said, the biggest squash that I had out here, let's see if I can get it focused on the camera for you guys. I think, yeah. It's right there. And as you can see, what happened to that little squash right there? It rained and it split. Now, to my greatest knowledge, that is caused by this plant just soaking this water up when it rained. It soaked the water up so fast until that little fruit right there did not have a chance to stretch, to grow into it. It sucked up water so fast, it just bursted. It bursted open. So I may have to remove that. I don't have to remove it, actually, because the plant is fully capable of aborting that fruit by itself. It'll take care of it. But the disappointing thing is that that's one that I may not be able to eat, because that little area that opened up, it may end up rotting, It may end up getting infected and just go bad. Well, I'm not going to worry about that. There's nothing I could do to stop that. The rain pretty much dictated that, and the rain was good. The rain was welcomed, and it had an overall great effect on this squash, because I had been watering it, with the water hose, and that was a little bit of wear and tear on my water bill. And it's just not as good. It may be necessary, but it's not as good. It's not going to take care of this plant and hydrate it like it really needs to be. So if it means sacrificing that one little fruit there, we can do that. I'm going to leave it on there. It may develop another skin. I'm kind of doubtful of that. I have seen fruit of other types that have kind of healed themselves, but I'm just going to leave it alone for right now. Not going to worry about cutting it off or nothing like that. I don't think it's going to infect the whole plant. I think, if anything, it will just wither away and fall off. So, let's see here. I'm looking here at another situation. It looks like some type of eggs right here. I'm just gonna take them and just, brush them off of there. This branch, yeah, You can see right there, squash borer, more than likely. It's ate into that. I don't really worry about that. There's probably a worm down in there, a maggot. I just pull this leaf off. But I don't really worry about that. With this type of squash, you don't have to worry about it. It's tough. It's very resilient. You know, with that little sawdust material there. Look, that's the poop. You can see it on my hand. Where am I at? Getting focus on things. Yeah, oh, there it is. You can see that on my fingertip, my thumb. This little squash borer is a very insulting little bug. It's actually a beautiful little bug. It looks kind of like a little moth or a butterfly. But very little devious, low-class creature, if you ask me. One of God's creatures, nonetheless. But just a real pest. But the good thing about it, when you go on butternut, the squash borer does not have a great impact. That's about as much as it will be able to do is destroy a leaf or two here or there. And that's not going to stop the growth of these plants. Squash borer is an ever-present problem when you're growing squash. But zucchini kind of attracts them, but it will have virtually little effect on the production of the zucchini, and as far as butternut squash goes, almost none. Little squash right there. And we still are not having fruit set like I want them to. Now, there's one right there. It's yellowed. A lot of them are coming on yellow. The blossom part of it is spent. It's more or less rotten. I don't think that's squash there. Let's see, where are we at? You know, it's amazingly hard to focus things in here. I got such a wide, there it is. You can see that up close. That squash should be green. So it's probably gonna just wither off. I'm not gonna worry about it, because that's what happens. There's another one in there. I didn't see that one. Look at that. Get located, get my hand located here. There's my hand. Let's see. There's a second here. Okay, there it is. Now, as you can see, that's green. Got some little speckle coloration on it. Relocate it. There it is. Yeah. Blossom right there. Looks like that blossom opened up. It's probably about midday here now. And those blossoms close. Once the heat comes out, they close. You know, I was talking about that the other day. There's a reason for that. And it's just God's design. So, that one looks fertile. It is growing. And we're going to have more and more and more. It's setting fruit right now. plenty of flowers, male, and a growing number of female flowers, which actually produce the squash. They are being fertilized, and as you can see, the squash plant itself, it continues to look very healthy. The foliage is nice and green, dark green. It's not any major yellowing in patches. There's vigorous growth. In fact, you can see over here there's a couple of vines that are growing up my poke salad tree. That's poke salad right there. Some people eat that. It just grows wild. I kind of neglected it for maybe a year or so, and then here we go. It's a tree now. And you can see one of the squash vines growing up on that, but there's about 3 of them in that area. There's one right there. There's another one right there headed toward it. There's one that went underneath it, but they don't mind. They got these little tendrils, and there's another one. They'll just go right up the bush, and imagine they will produce fruit that will be very clear to see in the autumn, early fall of the year. When it's time to harvest them, it won't be no problem. I mean, it's actually a good thing for them to be up off the ground. You know, which, unless you got like really acidy soil, you shouldn't have any problem with this. If you're growing something like watermelon,